In today's video, I want to talk about how we can build up willpower. Watch this video to learn more. In many of my videos about willpower, I've been talking a lot about how we can change our environment, change our surroundings so that we don't have to use self-control all the time, because it's like a muscle, it depletes, and if we run out of it, then we're in trouble basically. But today I want to talk about how we can actually build our willpower. How can we actually make our self-control stronger? Developing self-control is going to have a whole load of benefits for us. It's going to increase our ability to focus on work, to focus on building skills. We'll be better at producing things. We'll be more consistent at the gym. We'll have better relationships with other people as we can control our emotions better. We'll be less likely to take that dessert and be more likely to have the salad instead. We'll be more likely to stick to our habits that we're trying to build up and follow the routines that we need to build our habits there. There's just a whole host of benefits that will come from building up this willpower store. One of the things I often hear is that people say, I'm just not the type of person that has self-control. I'm just not very good at it. And this shows a fundamental misunderstanding of what willpower is, because we all have it, right? And it's stored in this front part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex. And that part of the brain is very much like a muscle. So in the same way that we all have chest muscles and that we can strengthen our chest muscles by going down the gym and lifting weights, we can strengthen the prefrontal cortex and our willpower levels by training that too. Of course, the reason that not many people actually realize this, realize the adaptability of the brain, is that you can't see the results of it. You can't see any evidence. When you go down the gym and you smash out a set on your bench press, over time, your chest gets bigger, your body changes, and also you have this direct feedback because you can see how much you're lifting on the bar, right? 50 kilograms this week, 60 kilograms next week. You're getting stronger. You can see that positive feedback. But with your brain, you can't see anything. Your brain doesn't grow a muscle, you can't see any changes to your body, and you have no way of measuring it. Because of this, I think it's a common belief that you don't really have much control of changing things like willpower or cognitive functions. But that's why I want to quickly clear this up first. By now, at this point in 2017, it's beyond doubt that your brain is very much like a muscle. All the time it's rewiring itself, right? So your brain a year ago looks very different to your brain now, and that's going to look very different to your brain in 1 year's time. The actual term that neuroscientists use to describe this phenomenon is called neuroplasticity. Quite simply, your brain is adapting to the stimulus that's being placed upon it. And there have been many studies whereby researchers have actually scanned, using MRI scanners, people's brains before and after doing a certain stimulus, so maybe meditation or exercise and stuff like that. And they can actually see new grey matter growing in the prefrontal cortex. So just to alleviate any doubt in your mind, this stuff is very, very real. And believe me, I was skeptical too until I saw the evidence. So the main point I'm trying to make here is don't be skeptical about this. This is very much grounded in science, and you really can change the shape and structure of your brain. With that in mind, how do we actually go about building willpower? Well, the way we do that is by eliciting self-control and using our willpower. In the same way that when you go down the gym, you use your arms and you grow your arms, we have to get ourselves used to eliciting self-control and using the willpower that we currently have, and that over time is going to strengthen it. So anytime we control our emotions, we control our thoughts, we do something difficult where we focus on something like learning a skill, or we resist temptation, those are all times where we are building up our willpower. That's the high-level conceptual stuff, but what do we actually do practically day in, day out to build our willpower? Well, the first thing I want to talk to you about is meditation. Meditation is like going to the gym for your brain. It puts your prefrontal cortex on steroids, right? And I think the reason for this is, I don't know if you've ever tried meditation before, but if you try meditation for the first time, it is incredibly difficult to just be present to the moment, to just focus on your breath and try not to get distracted by your thoughts. Constantly, you just want to stop and you just don't want to do it anymore, right? And I think this is one of the reasons why meditation is so powerful, because you have to elicit such self-control to see it through, to see that 10 minutes of meditation through. To back this up, here's a quote by Kelly McGonigal, who's a psychologist at Stanford University. She says this: practicing mindfulness meditation for a few minutes each day can actually boost willpower by building up grey matter in areas of the brain that regulate emotions and govern decision making. So simply, if you want to build up your willpower, you want to build up your self-control, That's the single best thing to do. Practice meditation every day. So what other things can we do to build up our willpower? Well, one is to exercise regularly. The whole thing of making yourself go to the gym, and while you're at the gym, making yourself lift weights and completing your exercise schedule or your routine and trying to add more weight to the bar or whatever it is you're trying to do, run a minute further or whatever. That whole thing comes together to be great practice for self-control and your willpower. The next thing is habit formation. Anytime we try and build a new habit into our life, make a positive change where it's uncomfortable for us, it's something new, something that we have to focus on and something we have to make ourselves do for a period of time, that's going to help build our willpower. Anytime where we're in a position where we have to elicit emotional control. So let's say you're working in a customer service job and you've got customers banging on in your ear all day long, being very stressful towards you, but somehow you have to rein that in, rein your emotions in and act in a professional way. That's going to definitely help you build up your willpower. Anytime we have to make decisions where you have to take a bunch of information and input, analyze it and come up with a suggested approach, that's great training for your willpower levels. Anytime where you're put in a situation and you have to resist temptation and you successfully do so, so maybe you just don't take that chocolate cake when you're out at lunch or you don't drink that beer, that's also great training for your willpower levels. Anytime where you're really focused to learn something new, to learn a skill, for instance, maybe in an office environment, you're learning a new software application or even a sport, whereby you're being challenged, you're at the limit of your ability and you're trying really hard to improve your performance. That's another great way of exercising your willpower. Any time where you make a decision that favors a long-term reward, a long-term benefit over like a short-term pleasure. So it's like you're controlling your impulses. An example might be, let's say you're invited to go out with your friends, but you decline that because you're trying to build a new business. And even though the rewards of that business might not come for maybe a year or 2 years when it starts to take off, you still make that decision. That's great exercise for your willpower levels. So those are just some of the things you can do. Obviously, there's many, many more things that you can do, but each of those things I just mentioned will strengthen your willpower over time. So you might be thinking, well, this is all great, right? I can build my willpower by doing this stuff, but I don't want my life to be governed by all these rules and all this hard stuff that I have to do. I'll feel like I'm in prison. I won't enjoy myself and I won't be happy. So what's the point in all this? But the interesting thing about this line of thought is that I've found the opposite to be true. I mean, just imagine for a second, you get up early, you go to the gym and you smash the gym. Then you go to work and you have a really great day's work. You get really engaged in your work and you've achieved all this stuff. You come home and you have a good chat with your other half or your family or whatever. And you look back on your day and you really feel like you've achieved something. You feel like you have some accomplishment. You feel like your life has some kind of meaning and purpose. That is what makes us happy as humans. That gives us a life of fulfillment. We tend to think that just doing what we want all the time is going to make us happy, right? So maybe playing video games all day or being stuck in front of the TV or lying on the beach all day. We think this stuff will make us happy, but in reality, these pleasures, these things that don't really have any grounding or any kind of direction or any meaning, in the long term, they do not bring us happiness. They don't bring us the good life. They don't bring us fulfillment. What I'm saying is, right now, you might be thinking that this stuff is all hard stuff and it's going to be difficult for you to achieve. In reality, once you start making progress and you start growing and you start contributing, you're going to feel way better. You're going to feel really, really good about what you're achieving, the direction that you're going, and the meaning that your life has. So the key points here are that yes, you can build your willpower, and the way you do it is by exercising it. So exercising self-control. Your brain reacts to the stimulus that's placed upon it. So doing things such as meditation and going to the gym will build up your prefrontal cortex part of your brain, and that in turn will give you greater willpower. If you really struggle with willpower at the moment, don't worry. It can be trained. Just start very, very small and build up gradually. I hope you found the information in this video useful. If you did, like my video, subscribe to the channel. Good luck building your willpower. See you again next time.